Hey guys, we're going to be talking about our Cob Barndominium today. It'll be a kind of a shuffled around video. We're going to show our creek. We just harvested sand. It's been beautiful weather here in central Texas. And then we're going to show some of our progress that we've had since, I think New Year's was the last video we did. And, or Christmas, whatever. And so that's kind of how the progression will go. And we've done a lot of new types of projects, some different types of shelving on the outside for the actual house, and so we'll be talking about that today. So we're over here in our creek, and we usually keep a little reserve sand so we can always operate no matter what the weather gets like, but we did have a bunch of rain. And so basically what happens is this is a wet weather creek, and we'll get water running down here, and in these straits here, as you can see, we get a significant amount of sand. Sometimes it's 2 or 3, 4 feet deep, and it is mixed with some soil. I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, as the creek bends and turns, as you can see up there again, there is a band of river silt that gets deposited. So we do have to kind of avoid that. But we get pretty good coverage of just really good sand that has minimal soil inclusion. And this is kind of how I do it. I'll get my tractor down here, and I'll start to carve out a nice straight path. So the bucket just scoops up nice and easy. And then there's a pile that I'll make in the back that kind of acts as a backstop, and that's where it'll assist me by pushing just a little bit more in my into my bucket. And here is our reserve pile. I was probably riding the tractor for about an hour and a half this morning, stocking our site with sand, and also refreshing our backup pile. Unless you're buying your own sand commercially and it's just going to be delivered, I would definitely suggest having a backup. There are times when, you know, the clay pits that we've had fill up with water and it's too hard to get in them, or just the creek where we access it, because this one right here is the primary. There is a second one in the back, but when it does get messy, it can really stop production or force me to think about buying commercial sand. So I suggest keeping a pretty big stockpile. This is, like I said, about 30 buckets of sand, so you know, anywhere between, I'd say something like 12 cubic yards of sand that I harvest when like I said, when the weather's good. So let's go take a look at the cob house. And here is our sand pile up at the front. It's about 10 buckets of my small Coyote tractor. And if you can see, we've come up quite a bit on our layers. On this side, we're about 5 feet high. On the front, because the ground slopes away, we're about 6 feet high. Over here, I'll eventually inset my AC unit. It'll be a wall unit. And one of the things that we've continued to do on the front side is these just kind of aesthetic rocks. So we have our group of 4. I think last time on our mistakes video, I was insetting one of these third ones. So we've continued that. And in the front, we're much taller than me as far as the height of the building goes. We might be 6.5 feet up here. And today, we actually have our builder, Simon.
Hey guys.
Say hi. Is there anything you want to say about our Cob building?
I'm having a really good time building it.
Okay, well that's good. Thank God. One of the other new things we're doing is these. It's just reclaimed cedar. Flip it over on the bottom. It was just rough. It was left over from the build of our porch on my mother's house. And basically I tapered it off on the edges and just polished enough up that will be sticking out of the wall, and I'm going to put hooks on here every so often and either hang pots or I'll do like spatulas, and I'll be hanging those or embedding them in the cob up here. This will be where the stove is, just behind this ladder. And somewhere over here, I'll embed a second one. Those are generally stained about the same color as the trusses, and I tried to follow it through, even onto this. This is our TV mantle here. I made it out of the same reclaimed cedar from another job, and I tried to keep it the same, but I think it's a little light. And kind of continuing on the same theme, we have these rock shelves that we're putting up here. I think if I have enough space, I will take them up and go to a third one somewhere up here. And I might try to do the same thing in the kitchen. We actually have a rock shelf inside this cubby here, and I might try to continue that up into the kitchen between these two windows. But the last thing I'm going to show is, just so you can see what it looked like before, our large round window. We finally gotten to the point where we're about halfway up, and on the other side, it's covered in cob, but I wanted to show this is the nail pattern we kind of use. They're just 1-inch roofing nails, and that's going to assist us in holding the cob onto here. So you can see Simon cobbed this yesterday. Let's see if I can get the best view here. There you go. And it works pretty good as far as right now. We'll see how much water that wood absorbs. And we'll be doing more exterior shelving like this. And let's go over here and we'll talk about our scaffolding. The scaffolding is all Simon's equipment. It's from his previous life as a mason and stucco master. And they're just kind of a offset ladder here. And we raise them up as we need. And it goes from there. So that's it. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And that's it here at the Cob Barndominium. We'll see you next time.